Hi, and welcome to Simply Happy Conversations. I'm Narelle King, and in today's episode, I'm chatting with Loretta Hart in her segment, Making Life Better, on 94.7 Pulse FM radio. Loretta is a happiness strategist who helps people find their joy. Loretta loves a great yarn and is so much fun to chat with. In this episode, we chat about fitting it all in as we return to the new school year, how to schedule activities into your calendar and add non-negotiables, and the best way to create to-do lists and how to allocate context to them. Let's jump into this Simply Happy guest conversation. Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations. I'm Narelle King, wellness and organisational coach and yin and nidra yoga instructor. This podcast will help you create more time using organisational strategies so that you can start to simplify your life and prioritise your health. I'll be sharing conversations with other health and organisational experts and solo episodes with tips to help you simplify your life and prioritise your health.
And the conversation is going to keep rolling this morning. It is time for Making Life Better. I feel like I need to get some music happening for that announcement. Would be pretty good. Sitting in the studio opposite me is Narelle King. She is from Simply Happy. She's our resident professional organiser. Narelle, welcome back to the program.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
It's lovely to have you here. Now, has your summer been tidy, ticked off, checklist done? Have you been,
No. Well, I had 2 weeks off. And then it was back into it, and it's been crazy, busy getting everyone else's house organised. So, yes, mine's not looking the best at the moment, and just fitting that in when I can. Yeah,
because some of the things sometimes about summer, one of the great things about summer is our routines go out the window. Some of the worst things about summer is that our routines go out the window. So we can feel a little bit all over the shop. But it's also lovely to have a break from all of that.
Yeah, definitely. The summer holidays, except for the weather, was beautiful. It was a nice break. But yeah, going back, for me too, over summer, it's like the work is more like garages, and it's like big jobs getting, a whole space organised, not just small areas. So yeah, I love that. And then you go back into sort of a more schedule of regular clients again. So yeah.
And so for all of us who maybe are waving off, maybe children,
kids, yes.
off onto first days of school. I just said this morning I was driving past lots of bus stops this morning with lots of excited young faces who were clapping their hands with glee about going back to school.
Yeah, my son was one of those. And the bus drove past him.
No.
So no bus on his first day.
Oh, that happens so often on first days. That's why we try and build resilient people.
Yeah.
But I think that, as we get back into February, a lot of things come back online. So our sporting commitments, our organisations that we've been part of, the meetings that you normally attend, maybe you've had a hiatus in December and January, but it all starts to come back in with a vengeance. And I just want to have a conversation with you about how do we fit it all in and do we actually want to fit it all in? Maybe that's part of that conversation as well.
Definitely. It is like that. And I felt the same pressure yesterday when I opened up our family email and saw all the school emails. They just rolled in yesterday. So it's like looking, I suppose, at your schedule and looking at the activities you need to put in there. So obviously your work's going to be a priority. Maybe it is kids' sport. Maybe you've got to drop your kids at school and then putting those into your calendar. But then looking at the things that you like as your non-negotiables. So for me, it's like going to the gym 3 mornings a week and going to yoga in the morning. For you, it might be something completely different. It might be catching up with a family friend. It might be even spending time with one of your kids on a certain afternoon after school. But whatever those non-negotiable are, that's what you want to put in next. And then you've got that space for all the to-do list. So for me,
I was going to say, and I think that way of even looking at it might be new for some people because when you're just in the do, when all the things start to pile on, we just start to, I'll do that, then I'll do that, then I'll just manage.
Yeah.
But even thinking about, there are some non-negotiables, and yes, they are, you have to sleep, and it probably is a good thing that everyone gets fed and you've got time to make dinner and buy groceries and those sort of things. But then the non-negotiables that actually are about their life affirming, I suppose you could say, about those connections, about the exercise. Do you think that now's a good time of year to just pause just for 5 seconds and just think about, well, what are my non-negotiables?
Definitely. It's a great time because all the things are starting up, like you said. So it's a really good time to then put in those ones that you think is going to help you to get the most out of life, isn't it, each day? And whereas rather than going just with the calendar and all the items that are there and just pushing it in and then going, I've got no time for me or what I need myself. Yeah, so you're going to definitely then be able to probably manage better as well if you've put in some non-negotiables for yourself.
I wonder what our listeners' non-negotiables are. Let's test out the text line. Do you want to text us on 0488 877 947? Text in. We've got Narelle here, and for another 10 or so minutes, and we're chatting about how do we fit it all in. But maybe even looking at what your non-negotiables are. Is your non-negotiable a walk on the beach in the morning? Is your non-negotiable a cup of coffee in silence? Is your non-negotiable doing the Wordle?
Oh, yeah, it might be. Definitely. I know there's lots of people who do that in the morning.
I do really enjoy the Wordle every day. Yeah. So I wonder what's your non-negotiable. Maybe it's to do with the physical, maybe it's mental, maybe it's a spiritual thing. I don't know. Share with us. Share what your non-negotiable might be. Let's dive in. So you're saying get the non-negotiables in place and then fit in the to-do list.
Then the tasks. So for me, I'll create a task list at the start of the week. And it's going to be long for me, but what I then do is look at that task and then put it into the spaces I have. So obviously, like today, I don't have much time. I had an hour actually before I came here. So I was like, okay, that hour, what can I get done before I came in? Whereas tomorrow, I know that I'm packing up a house and I don't have a lot of space. So therefore, there's not going to be that. There might be a phone call actually because I'm driving to Ballarat. So it's looking at that time that you maybe got driving somewhere that maybe you could do one of those tasks. And I love to break my tasks down into context. So shops is one of my themes, phone calls, computer and home. So obviously you're only going to do the things that are phone calls when you've got that time. Maybe it's walking on the beach and you do that while you're also walking. And it depends on obviously the time as to when you can talk to those particular businesses or people. And so for me, I'll do lots of phone calls when I'm driving long distances. So if it's ringing back a support coordinator or something like that.
Whereas I know some people love the solitude of the car.
Yeah.
And they don't want to make phone calls then because that doesn't work for them. So it's about finding what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at that space in your week. But I really like breaking it up into those context areas because then you will then look at your calendar and go, okay, when can I do that? When have I got time to sit down maybe for an hour and do all of those admin tasks to do with the school and newsletter and everything else that I need to do? Maybe it's like insurance and we've got to pay those bills and you find that you need to have a bigger amount of time to do that. So when can you fit that in? For me, it's a Sunday.
Fantastic. So we're talking about what our non-negotiables are and how we actually get to fit it all in. So if you want to be part of the conversation, jump on our text line 0488 877 947. The last three numbers are easy because they're the same as our call sign, 94.7.
Oh, that's good. I didn't even pick that up. I'm a visual person. I need to see it written down.
I'll have to put it out on the interwebs as well. 0488 877 947. So it's about, as you say, chunking. Is that what you're doing? You're chunking and you're bringing things together?
Yeah. And then looking at time, though, because some things are going to take you longer. And then there's other things that maybe you're sitting in a waiting room and you're like, I could do some of those tasks. So I like to have it on my phone so I can see it. And, waiting in the waiting room, I'm like, I could ring that dentist back and book that new appointment. I can go onto that app and change my, appointment time for something else.
Do you, when you say you make your to-do list at the start of the week or the task list, is that on an app on the phone? Is it in your notes section? Where do you do yours?
Two. I have mine in my diary first. So I have a written diary. I love St. Belford's here in Geelong, the gorgeous diary. But then I will then put it onto my phone. So I know it's double work, but then I've got it with me whenever I'm going out and I use the Notes app. I love the Notes app. So I just have it broken up. And also when I'm driving, I can tell Siri and she can add it to the Notes app. So I'll just say, can you please add this to like my computer list? And then she'll add it into that little section for you.
And does everything fall into those four categories?
Well, look, it comes from David Allen. David Allen is the person who came up with it. For me, though, I have he has conversations. But I just find that I'm able to have those conversations with my family when I need to, or people. But that's another one you could add as conversations. But shops might be like errands, he calls it. But, for me, it's just going to the shops, because computer has replaced, buying things online that you might, we had shampoo that we needed to buy online this week. So that was the computer. It's not an errand anymore. It's not going to the supermarket to get it necessarily. Yeah.
I just had a text come in to say that there is still snail's pace on the Ring Road, Melbourne bound. So if you're heading to Melbourne, you might want to go through the guts of Geelong at Latrobe Terrace. Potentially that might be a little quicker. We're not quite sure exactly where the jam is, but it's snail pace out there on the Ring Road. Okay, so I think that with the fitting it all in piece, Narelle, there's potentially the time when we get to use that magic word that is 2 letters long, when someone says, can you do this and can you do that and can you do this and you'd be the great person to take on this role in the committee. Is now a good time to be exercising the no word?
Oh, definitely. In setting those boundaries. Yeah, because you can take it all on, but can you really do it? And are you going to do it to the best of your ability? Is it playing to your strengths? I think is another thing to really consider. Do I really love doing this? And am I using my strengths? Or is there someone else in the community who maybe would be better doing that? So yes, delegate is my favourite word. And I did it just before I left, because my daughter's still home for one more day and back at school. I was like, there's a whole lot of washing there. How about you put that on the line for us today?
Exactly. And she said, with joy, Mum. Let me race out there and get that done. No, I like it. But I think that's a really good point, is that if you don't do it, someone else hopefully will. Oh, here we go. I've got breaking news. The text line's gone off.
About the Ring Road?
About the Ring Road, yeah. The jam is between Finesford and the A300. So the A300 must be the Ballarat Highway.
Yes,
I'm thinking.
I'm about to go there after this. So
right. Please avoid that section, or check on your app before you leave. Thanks, Texter. We appreciate you with that breaking news. But it's about, as you say, if you aren't going to do it, hopefully there are other people. We don't have to carry the load for the whole community, do we?
No, thinking about those must, shoulds, wants. What do you really want to be doing? Yeah. Rather than always doing that, I must do that, or I should do that. Yeah.
Is there anything that you are reconnecting with, because you're you're looking at the new year? Is there a new non-negotiable that's popped into your world? Because I've got one that I noticed last night.
Oh, what is it? Sure.
So I joined a choir last year.
That's right.
And it happens on a Tuesday night down in Ocean Grove, and it's really lovely. And it started last night, and I got there, and I didn't realise how much I missed it. I knew that I missed it, but I didn't realise how much I missed it until I arrived. And it was like old home week. Everyone was like, g'day, how are you? There's probably about 25, I suppose, of us in the choir. And we don't all know each other super well, because we all sort of stand in a circle and sing once a week together. But there's enough familiarity, obviously. And it was just so wonderful to be back in the room. And it just really affirmed that, okay, this is what I do on a Tuesday. This is
great.
the thing.
Yeah. For me, Geelong Carers Connect I'm involved with, and they haven't met yet, but I know as soon as I go back to that, it'll be the same. It'll be like, it's so nice just to have a chat with people, especially after first week back of school. I'm not sure. I think that it'll probably be next week or so. But yes, it's something that I really enjoy going to and look forward to looking when is the next catch-up. They do have Thursday catch-ups, but they have Thursday night catch-ups are the ones that I can mainly get to.
I was going to say, is there coffee involved?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's coffee on a Thursday morning for anyone who's a carer in Geelong.
Okay.
And they change around the location around Geelong. But yeah, that's a great one to connect with.
We haven't
for a plug. Actually, we should get them in here.
To them yet. Yeah. Oh, so anyone who's a carer.
Yep.
That's a big part of the population, isn't it?
Yep.
There's some amazing work being done. I think our healthcare system is pretty much supported so beautifully by voluntary carers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, carers as in people who are looking after maybe children with a disability, parents. Yeah.
Their own loved ones.
Their own loved ones.
Within family groups.
Family groups.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so thank you very much, Narelle, for helping us to fit it all in. But I think for me, the key takeaway really is just to reconnect to those non-negotiables from the get-go, because they're the things that support our overall well-being, reduce our burnout. We know it, but it's nice to be reminded of it.
Yeah, because you do that get carried away at the start of the year, don't you, with all that to-do list and all the calendar events.
And talking about calendar events, do you have your favourite calendar all done and ready and highlighted? And
well, yes, I love that St. Belford's calendar, but I also have an online, so I use Life Sorted as our digital family calendar. Yeah, which is an Australian app. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Fantastic. Yeah. Narelle King, thank you so much for being here and to help us make life better. I think it's always wonderful to have you here and in the studio.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. If you enjoyed this episode, then I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a review. This helps others find it who are also looking for tips and organisational strategies to simplify their life and prioritise their health. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss future episodes. You can also connect with me over at simplyhappy.com.au. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.